What's up everyone, my name is Kelsey, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a super fun original tag. Hopefully it's fun. This is the Emo Kid Book Tag. I wrote this a while ago and finally decided to film it, put it out there for a couple of reasons. One, because of the complete uproar regarding the My Chemical Romance reunion show, and two, because next weekend with a group of friends I'm going to an emo night with a live band that's just doing cover songs of emo music, and we decided to go like all out with the outfits. We're gonna go full 2007 emo kid clothing and makeup wise. I did a little test makeup for this video, so I've just got 10 mostly book related prompts inspired by the time of emo. All right, and I'm talking about like the mid-2000s emo, which leads me to my first question. PC for PC. Show us a picture of yourself from your emo days. So I have two pictures that I found, but this was hard because the only pictures I still have are from Facebook, which was like the very end of my emo days, like when Facebook was first becoming a thing. So they're like emo light. There's a picture of me with my black hair when I dyed it black, and there's a picture of me with my fingerless gloves, of course. But when I was an emo kid, you know, we didn't really have smartphones. So the pictures you took on your phone were absolute shit. So we had to use those point and shoot cameras to take bathroom mirror selfies or like turn them around and take a picture and hope for the best. But I don't have any of those pictures anymore because MySpace is donezo, and I'm sure they exist on my parents' PC computer somewhere, but I don't have access to that. So you get these two pictures. Prompt 2, nobody understands me. Name a book with a character you really relate to. So for this, and this might be an odd answer, I'm going with All Systems Red by Martha Wells because I relate to Murderbot. Doesn't sound great, but Murderbot is a security unit that's been assigned to protect humans, but he's hacked his governor module, so he develops, you know, a personality of his own and is no longer controlled by a higher power, if that makes sense. And in his free time, he likes to watch dramatic sci-fi space operas, and he dreads any time he has to spend with humans, which I just find so relatable. And there's so much of these novellas where he's complaining about having to deal with people, and he's just like, I wish I could be alone with my dramas. Prompt 3, Ohio is for lovers. Name a book set in your home state. So for this, I have The Wood by Chelsea Bobulski, and this is set in Columbus, Ohio. I live in Ohio. Set near the Ohio River, and it's about a girl who is the guardian of the wood, and her father was the guardian before, and he was training her to take over for him, but he disappears one day, so she has to take over unexpectedly. And she slowly discovers that something is infecting the wood, something is turning it dark, and she doesn't know what's wrong, so she's trying to figure out what's happening, basically. It's very creepy. I gave this 4 stars when I originally read it. My only problem with it was, like, it kind of had some insta-love stuff going on with this guy who didn't really have much character development, but the plot itself and the setting were super interesting. Prompt 4, I liked them before they sold out. Name a book you read before it was hype or an underhyped book. And for this, I'm going with, if you've been here very long, you already know this book. I, of course, miss no opportunity to talk about it, and that is The Last Sun by Katie Edwards. Sort of an urban fantasy situation where there are magical, superpowered people based on the major arcana. This is book 1 of the tarot sequence. So our main character, Rune St. John, is the last of the sons, and he is tasked by another high-powered person to find a missing person, Adam. But there's just so much going on in this book, and there's a great cast of like found family characters, and the dynamics between the characters are just so great. And I just really wish, I really wish more people would read this book and talk about it because it's just so fucking good. I need some people to talk about this book. Also, I need some fan artists to get on this shit. Like, I'm gonna be forced to take up drawing again for myself because I'm deprived of fan art. I need it. Prompt 5, they're just too mainstream. A book you used to love but don't anymore. So for this, I'm going with the Uglies series by Scott Westerfeld. Uglies, Pretties, Specials, Extras. And I don't think this is a bad series, but it's a series I was obsessed with when I was in high school. I loved it so much, and I read it several times. And I'm due for a reread because I want to see if I still enjoy it, but I just don't love it like I used to. And I can't imagine, based on the synopsis and what I remember of it, that I would love it as much now. Question 6. Oh, totally. They're one of my favorite bands. Name a book you've lied about reading. So for this, I'm going with Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I've never had to read this for school, and I have no interest in reading it for fun. And it's one of those books that, like, I feel like usually dudes bring up and ask if you've read, and I always say yes because I know enough about it to fake my way through a conversation, and I just don't ever want to read it. And I hate that thing after you say you haven't read a book that you're not interested in reading, where someone tries to convince you to read it anyways, and I'm just like, no thank you. Prompt 7. My closet is filled with Vans gear, but I can't stand on a skateboard. Name a book that was sold as something it did not live up to. And for this, I'm going with The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, because this was sold to me as a fun, romantic, historical fiction with a little bit of magic, okay? And it was not fun because Monty, the main character, is such a selfish dick, and he does not think about the consequences of his actions at all. And not just his consequences, he doesn't think about the ramifications for anyone else. He is constantly getting other people into trouble because, you know, Monty, he's a he's a noble white dude. Bad shit never happens to him. His love interest is black or half black, I can't recall exactly, and he has a fling with another woman, and clearly she will get in trouble for that because during this time, women couldn't just fuck around with guys. That was against the rules for sure. And he just like didn't consider any of those things. And then also at the end, it wasn't like a little bit of magic. It's like there was a huge magical plot that came out of nowhere. It was very confusing. So it was not what was pitched to me at all. Prompt 8. They're Better Live. Name a book you think works best on audio. And for this one, I have Let's Pretend This Never Happened, a mostly true memoir by Jenny Lawson. This is a memoir by Jenny Lawson. And it just talks about growing up in this rural area in Texas, I think it is. And it is just so fucking funny. And she narrates the audiobook herself, and she does it so well. And this book is like brutally honest. She talks about, just being a strange child, but also her family was very strange. And just growing up in a rural area is strange to most people. And she just tells it so well. This is one of the first audiobooks I ever listened to, and it's what got me into audiobooks. It's why I listen to so many memoirs on audio, but it's still one of my favorites. Prompt 9. Every outfit needs a studded belt or a chain wallet or a dozen armbands. Name a great book with a terrible cover. And for this, I'm going with all of the Raven Cycle series, all right? This is one of my favorite series. I love these books, but these covers are god-awful. The illustrations of these boys are just not great, and the composition is terrible, and I just don't understand font they used, and this still bad, it had potential, but it didn't go anywhere. And I don't really understand the solid white backgrounds. I think the Raven King is the least offensive of them. I like it the best, but still, why are they so not great? And speaking of the Raven Cycle, Call Down the Hawk comes out tomorrow, and I think that cover is ugly too, and I don't understand. Just weird. Prompt 10. Music is my life. Pair a favorite song from your emo years with a book you love. So for this, I'm going with the song What's It Feel Like to Be a Ghost by Taking Back Sunday. They're one of my favorite bands then and now, honestly. And I'm pairing it with The Fever King by Victoria Lee. So the song is sort of about, to me anyways, leaving people behind and how you feel to them, you kind of fade into a different kind of existence. You're not solid to them anymore. When you're not present. So in The Fever King, at the beginning of the book, Gnome's immediate neighborhood and his people get hit with this disease, and the disease mostly kills you, and if you survive the disease, you come back with magical powers. So his neighborhood is mostly killed by this disease, and he comes back with magical powers, and he has to go live in this government complex to serve as sort of what is law enforcement for them. And when he tries to go back to his people, who are refugees, by the way, it's like they can no longer accept him as he is because he's become something different, and he can't fit in where he did before. I just think those go so well together. Alright, so that's it for the Emo Kid Book Tag. I hope that was fun. It was super fun to write and figure out all my answers. If you want to do this tag, go for it. If you're a former emo kid, you should do this. And let me know in the comments if you do it, because I really want to see all your emo kid pictures. Really, I do. If you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you want to keep talking, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Kelsey Reads or Goodreads at Kelsey Lynn Reads. By the way, I will definitely be posting pictures of our emo get-ups next week. So if you want to see our ridiculous emo kid outfits, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.